Hello, and welcome to the Frivolous and Frugal Knitting Podcast. We're two sisters who share our fondness for knitting, the things that we create, and with the knitting community that we love. And we try to do it with a little twist of the Frivolous and Frugal. So welcome. It is episode 12.
Woo!
And I know, and I am Frivolous Dawn. I am the fourth of 8 children. And that is...
And I am Frugal Miss Penny. I am the oldest of the 8, and we have such a heartfelt thank you and welcome to our returning visitors. We're so glad you take a bit of your time to view, and we know that that is a very special time. We also want to say welcome to our brand new viewers. If you've never viewed us before, you may not view us a second time, but at least watch us the first time, because not only do we have a flair of Frivolous and Frugal, there's a little bit of humor. Would you agree, sis?
I would agree, and I'm going to try to keep it appropriate. How was that? We're off to a new start.
And you know who you remind me of when you
What?
said you're trying to keep it appropriate? Do you remember Miss Irene from the 3-Ply podcast?
Yeah.
At the beginning of her podcast, I need to wash my mouth out.
I'm right
Like
with her.
someone else I know. Yep, that's you.
Oh, soul sisters.
Yes,
Oh.
absolutely.
Well, what is around your neck today?
Well, today I am wearing Changing Light. That is something that I finished last week, and I didn't have the ends tucked in, so I did that this week. It is by Jennifer Weissman, and if I'm mispronouncing your name, darling, please forgive me, but very nice. I think both you and I agreed. I added a little repeat at the end of mine. I could have probably added 4 or 5 more repeats to get it down lower, but very comfortable. I used Suburban Stitcher sock yarn for this.
Yeah. I like her yarn.
Mm-hmm.
And what do I see Pearl back there wearing?
Oh, Pearl is sporting, as you can see, she is sporting Elevation by Aspen Knits. I think we knit that last year. Now, I will tell you, I love the colors. The minis were hedgehog fiber sock in their neon minis. And then the blue is a European yarn, and I'm probably not going to pronounce this correct. It's Vulrelma Satakili.
Oh, yeah.
Satakili. I don't know. I'm using my American phonics to figure this out. It is a toothy yarn, so I have not found it comfortable to wear. It's a bit too toothy for me.
Oh, and hedgehog tends not to be toothy, so that would be a weird combination.
Well, that would have been one that would have required a little more forethought than what I put into it. Hello, and surprise.
And a little European phonics.
Yes, my linguistics training is failing me. What about you? What's around your neck?
This is Purless by Romi Hill. I think Rosemary Hill. She goes by Romi. And we bought this yarn when we did Knit Stars the first time. And this is the Uncommon Thread Heavenly Decay. It is amazingly squishy. I don't know what's in there, but there has to be a little bit of silk or cashmere or baby moth. And then I realized when I was looking it up on Ravelry, I never took pictures of it. So I'll try to do that and post it. So yeah, it was nice to get it out again. I wish I should probably wear it more. DK is a little heavy heading into summer, but yeah, I like it. And it'll go with a lot because it's just a very light, almost like a pearl gray. I think they called the color Starlight, but it's a gray for sure. Yeah.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah.
Well, now that everyone knows what we're wearing around our necks, why don't you do me a favor, grab a note-taking device, grab your knitting and your sense of humor, and let's get into the meat of the podcast. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Oh, were you talking to me? I don't know if you're talking to the viewers.
I'm talking to whomever will listen to me. I don't need a specific audience.
I talk to myself quite often. So
Absolutely. So what's off your needles?
What's off my needles? All right. Do you see it back there?
Oh,
I know.
I
So
do.
this is Rhodocrosite. Wonder if I should take it off.
I think you should, because the pattern is gorgeous in that.
So this is a pattern by Norah Gaughan, and let's see if I can show you. It's in panels. So I mean, it's all knit straight across, but it's just a repeating panel like that. I think it was a 44-row repeat. And it was interesting. Joanne from Magpie's Cottage had started it years ago and never finished it. And I said I wanted to do the pattern, so she just gave me hers. But I couldn't meet gauge for what she had. So I just tore it all out and started over. Now the pattern has 3 columns, but I wanted it longer as opposed to wider. Oh, myself too. I'd rather. Yeah, I'm not overweight. I should.
Wider too.
What was that, Garfield? I'm not overweight. I'm under tall. I should be 9'6". So it is 15 inches wide and 98 inches long, which is the perfect wraparound for me. So let me see if I can do this. I like a shawl that I can just grab like in half.
Yes.
And do one of these just to pull through.
Sure.
I like to do that. And then I can loosen it if I get warm, tighten it if I'm going outside, and it's still plenty long.
So 98 inches is your sweet spot.
I would say in the 90s or low 100s, but not very many shawls are written that long, or scarves. So it's just repeating the pattern and then hoping you have enough yarn. So this was Barocco Folio. I'm not sure they make it anymore, but it was in the Island House colorway, which is a pretty blue. So I'm going to give it back to Joanne. She'll probably use it as a shop model, but yeah, it was delightful.
Now, is that a pattern you'd knit again for yourself?
You know, probably not.
No.
Gosh, I don't know why I say that. I don't know if I would. I liked it. Yeah, it was good. So
if nothing else, your takeaway is you found a sweet spot in width and length.
Yeah, and I didn't super aggressively block it because it's interesting. The edge starts, it's a paid for pattern, so I have to be careful here. The edge starts with a yarn over, which was a little tricky. So it gives you this really beautiful lacy edge. So I couldn't block it too much because it was going to distort that. So, so I would say I aggressively blocked it, but not overly aggressive.
Did you use your weed eater line?
I did.
That? That's a good idea. So it's just a nice firm line.
Yeah, and I don't know, excuse me, I don't know why I feel so redneck when I use weed eater line.
Dawn, that's frugal. Frugal is not redneck. Frugal.
Oh, okay. Toss it up there, but I think it works so well, especially for something 90. And then, I block on a queen size bed, and that wasn't long enough. So I had to set up another table at the end of the bed to keep going off it. But yeah, I do. And then like for the shorter edge, the 15-inch edge, I use blocking wire for that because it's just so much easier. But yeah, I will be sad to see it go, but I think it'll be a nice shop model for Joanne.
I think so too. You did a very nice job.
Thank you. What's off your needles this week?
Mine is just a very simple hat. It is called the 2x2 hat, and I think you can quickly see why. It is a knit to purl to pattern by Anne Gagnon, and I really like it for my fellows that I knit for every Christmas. I think I knit, I don't know, somewhere around 20 men's hats for Christmas gifts. So I liked this one, knitted up very easily. It was in Cascade 220 Superwash. Great to throw in the washer.
Is that a Ravelry free or paid for pattern?
I believe it's a Ravelry free pattern.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll link it in our show notes.
2x2, yeah, I will. And actually 2 is not the numeral 2, it's written out. So it will be linked in the notes.
Yeah, very good. And you can find our show notes usually in Ravelry under the groups tab. Just type in Frivolous and Frugal and then each episode. And those would have hyperlinks with it. We do put the show notes down below here But those usually don't include hyperlinks. So you would have to just copy and paste. Very good. Then the other thing, gosh, you got to see this one. This is Surge.
By Lisa Mutch.
By Lisa Mutch. Look at this.
Dawn, how did I not know you were doing that one?
Well, it was kind of one of those things that I just did on the side.
What?
And now the yarn is Queen City, Noda, N-O-D-A. That must mean something. I don't know what it is. Sock. I bought this last year at ZK as a kit for these two colors because they had a display shawl that I just loved. So when I went to do it, I didn't like the construction of the shawl, and I got a little frustrated with it. So I thought, you know what? I know the colors go together. I would never have picked these two colors for all the tea in China. There is no red.
Is that like a chocolate brown?
It is greeny, goldies. Who put these two colors together? It's brilliant. I wouldn't have done it. But the red is called Jam Session, which I thought was cute. And then this other one is called So Much Drama. But yeah, I love Lisa Mutch too. So she also, I think, is the dyer behind Northbound Yarns, which I love too. Now, Lisa Mutch's patterns are paid for, but she often does great sales. Like she'll put a few free for a few days or buy one, get one free. And she is a prolific designer. So, but yeah, now there's again that long crescent. And this was a good lesson in short rows. Now I had extra yarn. So what I kept doing is increasing the width of these blocks. So it is a little wider than it was written for, but I was just going to use the yarn. So
absolutely.
And you get good at short rows by doing short rows. So
and doing them correctly. You know, practice doesn't make perfect, it makes permanent. So you want to do them correctly so that you can knit them correctly.
Yeah, so I really like that. So it's called Surge. I always call it the Surge Wrap, but I think the actual, and that is a paid for pattern. And Queen City is usually a vendor at ZK. So I often, when I go there, I do have a little bit of sad news. We got told yesterday that Stitches Midwest has been postponed until September. And of course, I'm back in school by then. So
because
I was hoping
it's in August, correct?
Yeah. And I think that's where I was kind of hoping maybe I could meet up with the 3-ply ladies.
Absolutely.
3-ply podcast ladies, but we'll have to wait for another time or just make a trip.
You bet. Now I have a question. How do you know when a designer is offering deals on their patterns? Where do you find that information?
Well, I wish I had some. You know, I get these visions in my dreams kind of stuff. Usually when I see a designer on many of the pages on the What's Hot Now on Ravelry, something's up. So then I just click on one of them. Or I think all of us are pretty good about, hey, there's a free pattern on Ravelry today. And you can send a message in Ravelry. But yeah, I'm amazed how gracious some of the designers are. So maybe buy one, get one free, or, you know, some kind of combination, and they give you a code for that. So, yeah, that's gracious for them because that's income too that they're.
Right.
Right. So that's all I think that's off my. Oh, you know what? I'll show you just quick. I put the pom-poms on that hat. Look at that. So I got the clover pom-poms. Yeah. So I haven't put the buttons in them yet because I just wanted to see if they were placed right. So hopefully.
Wait a minute. Did you tack them down?
I just tied a little knot on the inside. You see the little.
I do.
Yeah. So that turned out cute. So
she is going to love that.
I hope so. Well, cool. So what's on your needles then?
Well, can I talk about something that's off my needles, but I can't find it?
Well, okay. Do you have imaginary friends?
It's all going to be part of that family therapy, you know. I am sure I'll have to pay an additional fee, but I'm okay with that. I finished the Fiesta Frock, and it is a One-skein wonder, actually, from the One-skein Wonder book with sock yarn. And I finished it and gave it away, and I don't remember who I gave it to. But I did take a picture of it. It's on my Ravelry page. But for the record, it looks exactly like this picture. I used Norah silk sock yarn, and that's exactly what it looked like. Now, I think I gave it to my granddaughter, but I'm not sure. So, oh,
Oh,
that's a
that
bad thing.
conversation could go so many ways. Like, you think you gave it to a granddaughter. So do you really have a granddaughter? Do you not?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure I have some children. You know, in the scope of eternity, it's okay if I don't remember who I gave a knitting project to.
That's
Right?
a good way to look at it. Absolutely.
Thank you. All right. So I just had to share the only other thing off my needles, off the record, off whatever.
Done. 14 more things casted on. That's the problem.
Oh,
All right.
speaking of 14 more things casted on, what's on your needles?
All right. I have to give you my Sizzlepop update.
Oh.
This crazy brioche shawl, I'm just loving. So it is Sizzlepop by Lesley Ann Robinson. She's part or Knit Graffiti. Okay, so it's getting bigger.
It is getting bigger.
And I think I'm on the 7th repeat of 11 or 12. I'm just gonna go till while I have yarn. But I definitely am reading the pattern now.
Absolutely.
So that's been a great lesson learned. I still have to do it in the quiet first thing in the morning. I tried doing it at night again and I make mistakes. So I don't know if it's because of the dark yarn, because I'm tired, you know, the TV's on, whatever. So I am loving brioche. I am. So
may I ask a question? Is that fabric heavy?
No.
It isn't. Okay.
No.
Because if you look at it in my mind, it looks pretty dense.
Yeah,
like
that's a good
fabric.
point.
So I just wondered if it was heavy.
I would say it feels no different than serge.
Okay.
Because it's so airy. See how you can see, I don't know if you can see through it. Let's see if I can, well, maybe not. That's
no, you can't really see through. I can't see
okay,
through.
yeah, I guess you can't, but it's very airy when you see it.
Okay.
And I'm hoping some of the uneven stitches block out. Because I'm having trouble with, like where you do a lot of things into a single stitch, that stitch gets bigger. Now, some of that's in the design. You want it to do that. And sometimes it's not. So that's why I have to learn to figure out when to just be a little tighter if I need to be. But yeah, I am loving this. So again, Lesley Ann Robinson.
Do you think that's going to be your opus project?
You know, I don't know. Because, you know, up to this point, probably what I would consider my opus was Midnight in Berlin. I should show that again from Melanie Berg. That was a big project for me. I don't know, because I want to do that diva next.
Oh, really?
So is
Might you have ordered yarn for diva?
I may have. Okay. Confessions is part of church, not part of
Okay. All right. I'll leave it there.
I'll show it next week. I got the shipping notice. So what's on your needles?
Well, as always, I am working on my alliteration scrappy scarf, which you know how much I enjoy that. But I did want to show an update. Now, I am learning that it's okay to only do what you can do, right?
Right.
So
that's profound, by the way.
It is profound.
Only do what you can do.
Thank you. Hey, it's all part of this epiphany as I grow older and become wiser.
All right.
Realize I can't manufacture more time. Now, you know, if I could, I would, but I can't.
Oh my gosh, that is so true, isn't it?
Here it is. So
Look
the cable channel panel, I am just 3 rows short of finishing the final repeat. And
are you serious?
I'm serious. And then I will knit the flap and I'll be ready to block it and sew on buttons and put it on a pillow form.
So maybe by the end of the month.
I am hoping that I am more timely with this than I am with my Christmas gifts. So probably by the end of the month, I should have this finished And again, it's a delightful knit for me. I'm enjoying it.
It just looks striking from here.
Yes.
So,
So one would have to buy a pillow form, I realize. So either that or I have to wrap it around pearl and put a pin in it. I
it could
don't
be a
know.
corset or something, whatever they call those.
That's right. What
All
about
right.
you? Anything else?
Well,
on your
here's
needle?
my update on Goldfish memory. So I am twinning this with Math Patty. It was 4ZK. And it is by Casapinka. It's a paid for pattern. So I did fix my geometrical mistake, so you can't see it anymore.
Look at
Okay,
you.
so this is where I was, I think, last week.
Oh, a
And
stitch
look,
marker.
yeah. Look, I've done all this. It's amazing.
Dawn,
I know.
have you slept?
Well, I had lots of Zoom meetings this week for
Oh.
school. So here's where I decided to get,
Yeah.
the meetings must have got boring, because here's where I did some creative changing. So do you see this ivory section here?
I do.
It was, the entire thing was supposed to be ivory, or, you know, whatever this color is.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought that was too much of a block of that pretty boring color. So I just threw these stripes in for fun. So then this next section was supposed to be green and white striping. I threw in the blue just kind of for some fun, just to break it up. So I'm on section 10 now, which is just whiter stripes for a while. And then you repeat this lace again at the end. And I wasn't that happy. I shouldn't say happy. I don't know. That lace just didn't do it for me.
Okay.
So I don't know if I'll repeat it, or what I was tempted to do. I'll see what you think. I'd like to do this section to end it. So it'll start with that section and end with that section. What I don't know is if I'll have enough yarn. I'll have to wait and see. And maybe that's why she goes with the lace section again, because you have a lot of that color left.
Oh.
But it is getting quite long.
Think it'll be 98?
It'll be probably not 90. I'm going to guess in the high 70s. Unless I have more yarn, I'll just keep going maybe.
Oh, you might as well.
But maybe I'm just not happy with that lace right now because it's pulling it in. It's not blocked.
Once you block it, yeah.
Yeah.
It may look differently.
It looks okay on screen. I guess I like it on screen a little bit more than I like it in person. So yeah, we'll see. But I love the color, so I'm hoping that'll be done by the end of the month too.
Aha, very good.
All right, so I think that's all that's on my needles. I'm just working on a really simple hat while we're chatting, so for another student's daughter. So
I do have another item on my needles, but look what it's living in.
Get out.
Oh yeah, I told you I was going to try and use this project bag.
Have you seen the light?
Well, no. So deep, I cannot see the light in the bottom of it. But I do like the way it stands up.
Yeah.
I like that. Now, what is inside is a gift knit, so I can't show it until I finish it this week and show her. But it is a gift knit out of Mint Rain's worsted yarn. Mint Rain is an independent dyer. I believe she's out of Michigan. One of the most gracious young ladies I've worked with. I'll put her contact information in the show notes. What a treat to work with that yarn, Dawn.
I know. And I think the first time I bought her yarn, it was in the Harry Potter colorways. So it was a sock yarn striping.
Yeah.
And then I wanted a hat, but I wanted the stripes on the hat to be wider. So I just emailed her and asked her if she could make longer running stripes. And she's like, absolutely.
I know. And and can I say something else? I apologize for interrupting. You want to talk about responsive to emails?
Yeah.
She is quick, very quick.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So I respect that. And I like that a lot.
Because I got caught up in knitting I want to knit this particular shawl, and I'll wait and show everybody once everything arrives. But I've been waiting for that yarn for now over 3 months. It's from an indie dyer. And that's just a really long time when you're looking at a project that takes 1,200 yards.
And you're not getting updates.
I'm not getting updates anymore. She did update at one point and just said because of quarantine, she was going to have to slow down, and because of the fact that they got such a run on request, they couldn't keep up. They were 3 months behind.
Wow.
So there's an unintended consequence of us helping to support our indie dyers, is that they're often small businesses and they get overrun and can't keep up with the demand.
And it just takes one big designer to pick your yarn and
Absolutely.
watch out, huh?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
cool. So what are you learning about this week?
Oh my goodness, I have learned a lot. Well, in the small things that I've learned, knitting wise, I've learned how to do cables without a cable needle. So that's a challenge for someone like me who's a tight knitter, because when you start jostling those live stitches around, they can quickly undo themselves, but that's okay. But I think on the bigger side of things, Dawn, I am learning, and you have said it over and over, about the importance of the knitting community and what we provide for one another and what we learn from each other. So during this past week of downtime and meetings, I decided to get back to my list of podcasts and watch those podcasts that I just haven't had time to watch. And I'm not binging as much as I'd like to. I am forcing myself to alternate between those podcasts. And I happened upon the 3-Ply podcast this past week. Wonderful Midwestern women in the Chicago area. I believe they're Angie, Irene, and Joyce. And first of all, ladies, thank you so much for your gracious shout out. But I have to tell you what I walked away with from that most recent podcast. I learned, because learning is part of what we do. We always talk about what we're learning.
Sure.
And I like to learn with laughter. I think humor makes learning, which is a hard, messy process, much easier. And I learned this week, as I was watching the podcast from Miss Angie and Miss Joyce, that you know what? It is okay, if you will, and I don't mean in a permissive way, but it is fine to like a pattern that speaks to your heart. It speaks to your senses as you're knitting it. It speaks to your brain. You can knit it over and over, like the puff blanket that Miss Angie's knitting and like the socks that Miss Joyce knits. I just thought, you know what? That's a great reminder for me. And then on a more serious note, I learned from Miss Irene the importance of close friends in the knitting community and the courage it takes sometimes to just pause and reach out for a friend in need. And I don't want to spoil that. I would encourage all of you to go to their most recent podcast and just at the very beginning, take a moment to savor the beauty of the friendship that Miss Joyce has with the other ladies on the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I learned that. And then I watched the most recent podcast from Magpie's Cottage, another one that I would recommend people to watch. Not only do you learn, but you laugh. And my 2 takeaways from that podcast, one was from Miss Amy, and she just liberated me again. It's okay to have 5 projects on the needles at once and actively working with them. That's fine. Permissible, not in that I need permission, but totally okay. It's another approach. And from Miss Joanne, who is the shop owner of Magpie's Cottage, I just learned the power of being a steady woman. Miss Joanne is just steady. She is not easily excited, easily aroused. She is a woman who, I think because she steps back, knows the women and men that frequent her shop in a very personal, individual way. And I thought, it was a reminder for me that I need to slow down and savor the moments that I have with the knitting community. So that's what I'm learning this week. How about you?
Wow, that's pretty powerful.
Well, it's all about timing, I think, at different phases
Yep.
in our life. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very good. I think I said, is patience a 4-letter word? I think I'm finding, so a couple weeks ago, I decided to try something new with UFOs, and that is to work on them 1 hour a day. And I'm telling you, it's that patience to do that day after day, and I'm seeing amazing progress. That's how I got Rhodocrosite done. it's been on my needles for over a year.
Oh
And
my
so,
goodness.
yeah. And so if we continue to work on our current projects, I tend to chase those things that are shiny.
No.
I know.
Yes.
Whoo! Alert, alert. Breaking news. So I tend to want to cast on what everybody else is working on. So I can do that. But like you said, as soon as I get 5 or 6 projects on the needles, what continues to make them all move forward? So I have a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet, and it's nothing fancy, but all my projects are on there, and then I just date it. And every day, if I do something on that project, I get to highlight that cell. Not rarely is the entire column for the day filled up, but what I like is I'm starting to see the benefits of just a little bit of time a day consistently. I think I will see more projects through to their completion so I can cast on more. And then the other thing, this just happened last night at our auntie's time with our niece. She asked us for an auntie knit along.
Oh,
Unbelievable. She wants to knit her first shawl. So after quite a bit of discussion, we have picked The Hitchhiker by Martina Baim. So we got to help her read yarn labels. So she was picking the right weight. We talked about needle size and length. So, but you know what? I don't need another project on the needles, but I'm going to do one because just the fact that she asked us to do a knit along with her is stellar,
absolutely.
and one day we'll get to all wear them together. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah,
so I
we're
just
looking
that
forward to
plodding along, and of course now summer break has started for me, and um, hopefully I can get a little bit more time every day. That whole when I thought I could knit 5 hours a day, what was I thinking? I must have had like too much caffeine or something, because yeah, I can't do that and be a mom and a wife and do what's expected in those domains. So,
Right, right.
yeah. So,
So, speaking of our UFOs,
yeah, tell them.
no, I want you to.
So, we want to start knit along as part of our Ravelry group. And I have to look because I want to make sure I call it right. We're going to call it the Finish Frog or Fix It Cal. We'll start it on Friday, May 22nd. And the only reason we picked that date is that the date that Stash Dash starts. So we are pretty loose with our rules, as in so loose we don't have any. So if you have any object that you finished, whether it's been on your needles 2 months or 2 years, or even longer than that, when you are working on it or finish it, let's just post a picture in our Ravelry group. And then if you are on social media, like Instagram, we'll put that hashtag in. So it'll be hashtag Finish Frog or Fix It Cal. I'll put it at the bottom of the screen here as well. And we'll just every month or so, we'll have Nikki draw a random winner, maybe 1 month from Ravelry, 1 month from YouTube. And oh, you know what? I have to show you what one of the gifts are going to be. I kind of forgot about this.
Oh,
Look
yeah.
at this project bag.
Look,
Is
go
that
big
not
or go home.
go big or go home? Being from Iowa, maybe that's even cooler. I don't know. But Joanne at Magpie's Cottage is making a bunch of these. Some have emus, frogs, cats, chihuahuas, I think.
That looks
So,
like a quilted panel. Is the front of it quilted?
okay, I know nothing about quilting, but this is
Okay.
one square, but then she adds all these different. Yeah,
Yeah,
and I
there
think
she
it's
goes.
quilted on the back. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, look.
Yeah, it's got a little stitch marker up here. Gosh, Penny, a
Oh.
stitch marker. Uh-huh. And the pretty pink
All
on the
right. Does
inside.
it have any bread ties?
It does
Because,
not,
well,
so.
it will before we send it out.
So
Absolutely.
I love stuff like that. So, and we're just going to keep it open-ended. I don't know how long it'll go, but I'm in several groups now that are doing monthly UFO projects, and we're just having fun, seeing some things finally come to completion. So,
Yep.
because
So,
I don't know, the new patterns don't stop,
no, they
right?
don't. No. So we're encouraging you to just take a look at all those projects you have sitting around in your project bags, under your bed, between the cushions on the couch, wherever you put them, and just decide, is it something you need to finish, something that you need to frog because you know you're never going to use it, or something that you need to fix. It just needs to be fixed and it's ready to go. So
Yeah, like little things I found. I found it might have been a clear plastic bag. I have like 6 or 7 of those cotton dishcloths I've started. Yeah, some of them only have this much done on them.
mm-hmm.
So why not? And then don't think it just has to be knitting. It can be any of the fiber arts. We even joked that it could be macrame if you still have some of that around. Decoupage, okay.
Ooh, that's pushing the limit, but
Only if you use diamond dust.
oh, I totally
Yeah,
forgot
remember
about
that?
diamond dust.
Holly Hobby decoupage with diamond dust. Okay, that's when you were cool
Uh-huh.
in the 70s. Was that the 70s?
Let me take mine off the wall and I'll show you. I don't know. I'm sure it's just right around the corner, and I'm not even going to be offended by your comment. You are ruthless.
I don't know why I'm a little punchy this morning. I haven't slept well. I don't know.
I
All
don't
right,
know.
well, I think that's all I have for today, sis.
Me too. I can't think of anything else other than, do you want to let everyone know how they can find us on social media?
Sure. We're on all the typical social media, so Instagram, Facebook, and Ravelry. We probably are the most active on Ravelry. I do try to post to Instagram like when new episodes go up. I need to get better at tagging in Instagram. So like of a podcast, I should put all the people we talked about in it so that
Yes.
that would be just kind of kudos to them.
Absolutely.
And thank you again to the 3-ply ladies for the 3-ply, the 3-ply ladies. It's been fun to get some new viewers, and we appreciate the love.
We do.
Yeah, other than that, I don't think I have anything else.
Well, then it's time for us to say, may your knitting be a sweet twist of the frivolous and frugal. And we look forward to seeing you in episode 13. Thanks so much.
All right,
Bye-bye.
bye-bye.